it's Duan, and I'm with my friend Douglas. Today I'm going to interview him on All-Wise Meadery because he is a third of the company, and yeah, it's really exciting. The first time that I met you was actually the day that we climbed Half Dome. So ever since the day, like 7 years ago, you've just been somebody who's just like accomplishing and accomplishing and accomplishing. And I would like to say that I'm very proud of you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to, first of all, thank you, but also thank whoever posted the comment on that picture. There's a picture of all of us at the top of Half Dome after hiking through the night. And there was one person who commented, "That guy looks wrecked." And that guy, of course, was me. I was in the middle of everybody, like, I was wrecked, so sharp eye.
Now you're not wrecked, and you are living in New York City.
Yeah, now I'm wrecking. It's the sit-down version of the Superman stance that you need. Don't they tell you to like stand like Superman for 30 seconds a day and it makes you feel good, right?
I didn't know that.
Right.
What the heck?
But it's the sit. You didn't know that? That's a power. It's called power stance.
I love that.
Yeah.
You just stand. And
You like stand like, and it mentally makes you feel better.
Oh! Oh! I hope that you enjoy this interview and come along.
Wow. I'm nervous. I like turtles. My name is Doug Brochu.
I wanted to interview you about starting your own business, which is a huge, amazing accomplishment.
All-Wise Meadery started probably about 9 years ago. Dylan and I each found brewing on our own, and then that kind of brought us together as well. I got my dad a beer kit one time for his birthday to make him some beer so we could like make it together. And from there, just kept on brewing, trying new things. Eventually got into mead. Shortly after that, Dylan and I, we'd known each other, but we really came together around that. He went to school, I was in California, and we would just swap things back and forth. Like if I came out to visit, I would bring a bottle of whatever I was making for everybody, or sort of like vice versa. When he would come back into California, he would bring whatever he'd been cooking up that year. And it just went like that for years with us sharing recipes, like what we liked, what we didn't like, you know, sort of honing what would become the recipes we're using to start this business with. And along that route, the talk of making a meadery was always there. It was something that would come up, or we would talk about it, and it would always be in this sort of like one day, like a someday scenario. Like one day it would be really cool if we did this, or like someday I could see us doing that. And then probably about 3 years ago, I just got a call from Dylan and he was like, "We're doing this thing." We'd been talking back and forth for a few months where he was like, "I'm looking at places, like I've been looking at this place, it looks pretty cool." And I would be on the phone in California like, "Okay, I hope it's cool because I'm not there. I have no idea what you're talking about really, but I want to be a part of this." And it really just got to a point where he said, "Look, if this is going to happen, and it's going to happen, you need to move out here." So I did.
And how was that? You
Yeah.
quit everything and just came and like lived with Dylan for like even a few months, just like on his couch.
Yeah, that was a phase we call summer camp, which was a rambunctious time of idea making and strategizing, and also just kind of fooling around and being silly.
And making each other breakfast.
And making breakfast and summer camp sauce, which is a mix of ranch and ketchup that we developed.
Added to every meal.
Yeah, it was added to every meal. Moving out to New York from California was pretty wild. I packed a 50-pound suitcase to fit exactly 50 pounds. And that is the only thing I came out here with. Originally, we're gonna be like, Caroline, my girlfriend, who actually moved out here with me, we had talked about driving a car and like, we'll take furniture and it'll be great. And I looked up the cost of renting a car, and then I looked up the cost of gas for a car, and oh, well, we'll have to stop somewhere. And so that really, we kept pawing down that plan until it was just like, okay, I'm gonna go out there for the first 6 months, because Caroline was putting on a musical that she had wrote at that time in Los Angeles, and then was going to join me out later to put it on out here, which we have since been doing, and that's very nice. I think that's been going really well too.
And now she's here, and you guys live together. So
Yeah.
it's like you guys can get through anything, totally.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's so wonderful to also like to know about your relationship, that you guys can go through like rough patches. Not necessarily rough patches, but like things like that, you know, and you guys are fine.
Yeah, she's been amazing throughout this whole process. The fact that she would just go, yeah, I'll move to New York with you is pretty cool.
While you start this business, that's crazy.
And it's good because we have mutual goals that align as well. You know, she wants to be out here to put on the musical she wrote, as well as to work as an actor. I'm out here starting this business, and we're in New York, and it's like everyone's telling us to live here when you're young. Yeah, it's not even been 2 years yet, and it feels like it's been longer than any phase of my life. Like, it's just been very memorable in that way.
So congratulations on that, just taking the step to
Taking the leap. Yeah. I mean, it's been a lot of steps in the process. Our category of mead that we're making is interesting because it doesn't quite fit into any of the licenses that New York State gives out right now. So we had to kind of pick one that we wanted and then make that work, because it's like, we're not a winery technically, we're not a brewery, we don't make cider. There's not really a precedent set yet for mead.
But isn't that kind of exciting though? Because it's like, wow, you're almost like the first of your kind.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's super exciting. And it's also daunting in that same way, where it's like, it's great because there's not a lot to be compared to, but also on that same side of the coin, you then become like, you don't become like the standard, but in that same way, there's nothing to hide against in like your own given area of expertise.
So what phase are you in this moment?
This moment is construction. So we finally, everything got the clear, all the ducks are in a row, and it's finally being built, which is super exciting. I just want it to be built finally so that I can get in there and just start making something. One of the things I really like about brewing in general, but like specifically mead, is that I think it's a really special alcohol. It inherently has the benefits of honey in it, and the way we make it doesn't involve any boiling or heating it up to a place where those special elements of the honey are destroyed or like hindered. Also has to do with like flavor and aroma. All those are pretty battered if you boil it. But additionally to that, like what you put in the mead becomes a part of it, in the same way like old world tinctures with like herbal tonics steeped in alcohol used as remedies for certain things. That's one element of mead that I really, really like. And I'm constantly reading about herbs that were used in medicine. Like, I think dandelion is one thing that's kind of coming back into prominence. I've seen blackberry brambles or something. You can use like thistle, you can use birch bark. There's like so many natural flavors that you can gather from the world around you and put it into mead. That is really exciting to me. And as much fun as it has been to start the business and like build it from the ground up and do the technical stuff, what I really want to do is the creative stuff, like the actually making of the stuff. I don't know if you've got shots around, but like we have like just stuff bubbling away in every single corner. I like to always have something fermenting in the house, usually many things, because it excites me, and it also reminds me of why I'm doing this. And it's because I love, like, I don't know, just like watching the airlock bubble to me is so satisfying. It's funny to me that if you get close to a airlock that's fermenting and you smell it and you're like, the aroma, and it's just like a million farts that you're smelling, which I think is really funny. If you ever have looked at the William Vale or been around there, you might have seen our space. It is a tiny corner space diagonally across from the lobby, and that has been a major hurdle, is figuring out how to make a production facility
in that space.
Yeah. Luckily, we have an amazing team of people who have helped us, architects and lawyers and all these amazing people whose insight have really helped us and have given sort of like context on a broader sense, because we're all of us, me, Dylan, and Matt, or Matt, Dylan, and I, haha. This is our first venture, so there's a lot we're learning. A lot to be learned.
What advice would you give to somebody who is in the beginning stages? Like there's something that really interests them, but they don't know what to do. Like what's their next step?
I mean, the next step would just be to try and do something, anything. For instance, we're gonna have a tasting room there, and I don't really have any experience with a bar, so I went to a bar and got a job as a barback and learned how to do that so that I would have some sort of experience or know what to do when it came to taking care of that aspect of this business. Continue to do whatever it is that you love and find ways to nourish that with the jobs you get. And that will eventually like build up to something, whatever that is. So if you like making things, find a job where you make things. When you do something that you really like, the way I can describe it is like your brain sings. So when I think about it, like, when I think like, okay, I'm gonna make this mead, but I'm gonna put all these like fall mushrooms, and I'm gonna put like crunched up leaves in there, you know, and then I'm gonna put it in a barrel, and then I'm gonna bottle it in glass bottles that I made at a kiln. That's just like sounds like the coolest thing ever to me.
You're just like giggling the whole time inside.
Yeah. I also would say that you don't need to be perfect to start. And I say that as much as to myself as to everyone else, because I have a way of thinking of a task and being like, oh, I'm not up to this perceived threshold of skill that is an arbitrary line in my mind to where I think like starting the thing is, and I'm only here so I can't actually do it yet. But really the way to get there is to just do it and learn that way.
Just imagine like a year from now, all your new skill sets.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah. I mean, it's all still a little daunting because we, like I said, we haven't opened yet. It's what's kind of like right on the precipice of doing that. So this whole thing has led up to this moment of sort of like jumping into the abyss of like, we're doing it now, like this is the thing that's happening. So I'm super excited, but at the same time I'm a little freaked out at the prospect of it, which is exciting, but it's exhausting. It's really tiring.
Well, I am extremely proud of you.
Thanks.
I think anybody to move across the country or move anywhere like with just their ideas and their hopes of starting something and doing something and then literally seeing it all the way through, it's amazing. Like that's like a dream.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Do you pat yourself on the back?
No, I actually don't.
You really need to.
Yeah, I can't reach my back. That's the problem. I've been trying to work on that. Yeah, I really gotta work on that. That's another thing I have to work on.
I hope that you guys enjoyed that. I definitely learned a lot. Did you learn a lot?
I learned a lot about myself.
Do more pats on your back.
Pats on the back after I stretch.
More of this.
More of these.
And more of this. Is there anything else that you would like to add? You'd like to say?
Eat dark leafy greens because it makes you feel really good.
And fermented foods.
And fermented foods.
And ashwagandha.
And ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is great. I think it's a thing. It's on the rise, right? That's a thing right now.
I've only heard about it from Caroline and Dana. So is it?
Well, I actually tipped them off onto it.
Really?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Actually, I told you about ashwagandha.
Did you?
I let you have it for the interview.
Oh.